The narrator is of Pakistani origin and is an engineer in the valley and is experiencing an identity crisis, and there's undertones of colonialism. The story is called The Manager Always Yells Twice. One can always depend on the power of imagination to lift one up from the shackles of reality. I had tried it all. I got angry. I shouted. I screamed. I cursed. I had sleepless nights. Every morning I would assure myself that maybe today things would be different. And I kept telling myself this day after day, night after night, so on and so forth. But nothing ever changed. Thoreau had said that one must become lost in order to be found again. So I had to do it. You see, I just had to do it. Gunshots. Rick lying in front of me in a pool of blood. Fetal position. Head smacked down. Eternal sleep. Gone. Dead. Panic. Cold sweat. Numbness. Peace. They all came around at the same time, the police, the FBI, the ambulance, and the media. I was taken into a police car and was driven to the Sunnyvale station. For the first time, I felt my brain not drifting in an alternate universe, but aware of the present. But in this present, I was handcuffed in a police car. Inside the police station, a wall-mounted TV had CNN on. It was blaring the following breaking news. Radical Islamist kills tech visionary. The FBI is investigating whether Ms. Shaista Fahim was inspired by terrorist organizations for committing this gruesome attack on her boss. She may have possible links with the San Bernardino attacker's wife, both of them being Pakistani Muslim women. More details to follow. I was more annoyed at being described as a Pakistani Muslim woman than a murderer. Pakistani Muslim woman? I whispered under my breath. It confirmed my sense of alienness in the US even after living here for 8 years. I was startled when a bald, wide-shouldered officer approached me. You can use the payphone on the right if you want to make a call. Who would I call, I thought. Fear enveloped me and I ached for my mother. I wondered if she was listening to the news. Did she still curse me? My life had been so different 4 years ago. My whole family was present at my college graduation. My parents came from Multan and my brothers from the East Coast. With no other girls in my electrical engineering class of '09, my brothers teased me that now they would call me Pi. Enough with these degrees, my mother cried out. It's now time for you to get married. Uffa me, I started feeling annoyed at her continuous pestering. One can have other dreams in life besides marriage and babies. When my father had first installed Dish in our home in 1994, the success stories of software moguls such as Bill Gates, Jim Clark, Jerry Yang became familiar to me. I was enamored by their lives, full of purpose, fame, and instantaneous massive riches. I resolved to become like them and get out of this dingy conservative town. But right now, the police station just feels cold. 2 FBI agents walk towards me. The tall woman with the blonde hair in a ponytail motions me to get up and says, "This is Agent Keith and I am Agent Linda. You can follow us to the inquiry room where we will begin the interview process. You have to answer every question truthfully. Is that clear?" Yes, I answered. Her aggressive tone does not match her cherubic looks. Both of them are holding files with massive amounts of paperwork. Why don't they use an iPad? I think to myself. They make me sit down. Keith sits in front of me, while Linda prefers to stand next to Keith. How long were you at Maple, Miss Fahim? Agent Keith begins the questioning. 4 years? What did you do for them? senior security engineer for the Vision X team. All of a sudden, I became aware of the ticking of the clock in the room. It was almost 2 a.m. now. The clock reminded me of one of the ones in the Maple conference room called Get Shit Done. That is where I was first interviewed for the job. Did you like working there, Miss Fahim? Yes, I did initially. Somehow I started to recall the memorized pitch I had uttered to the HR during my interview at Maple. I had gotten to know about the company through an article in the New Yorker. Bahuni Vara, the tech correspondent for the New Yorker, had written a 10-page profile on Maple for the January issue. The article was mostly about how Maple was using drone technology for social good. Their drones were helping farmers in Africa to irrigate land. Kabul was safeguarded by NATO forces via Maple drones, and even the National Park Services were using Maple technology to understand the effects of climate change. Mara reported that the familiar culture fostered by the company was the reason it was one of the most innovative and productive in the valley. Maple was a unicorn valued at $8 billion, funded heavily by A16Z, Khosla Ventures, and DFJ Ventures. That was exactly the place where I wanted to be. The agents both looked at each other at the same time. Did you know Mr. Rick Wilson? Agent Linda asked. Yes, my heart starts to race. How was he connected to you? Was my manager. How were your relations with Mr. Rick? Rick is, I started stuttering. Our relations had started deteriorating. Well, our records show that Mr. Rick had given you poor performance reviews for the past 2 cycles. Seems like you were not fit enough to work for him anymore. Was that the reason for the tension? Agent Linda started becoming confrontational. I looked at the agents and could tell that they were judging me. I hate being judged, and I hate it even more when they judge my intelligence. Why does everyone think that I'm not smart enough, that I will never be of exceptional caliber? I hate it. I can't solve problems just as anyone, People need to stop telling me that I'm not good. Well, Rick, he was just simply mean. What the fuck, Shaista? Jake yelled at me at his office late one night, and then he threatened me. You will be sorry if you do this. I will make sure that you get kicked out and never get to show your shit face in the valley. I felt there was a time bomb ticking behind me. How can someone so ruthless, so inconsiderate, so inhumane be called a rock star and be personally invited by Ben Horowitz for his annual charity gala? No. I tried to answer Agent Linda's question. That was not the reason for the tension. Then what was, Miss Fahim? Because I had found something out about Rick. I answered agitatedly. What? What did you find? I knew that this was the time to reveal Rick's secret. I had to expose him, to stand tall and be brave, to finally tell the truth, so I began my testimony. Rick had developed the architecture for Vision Protocol framework before I joined the team. I worked under him for 3 years, but recently I found out that he had purposely left security holes. Security holes? Agent Keith interrupted me. Yes, security holes. And he had done it purposely so that... Miss Fahim. Keith cut me off again. Let me ask you this first. Have you ever taken a class on convolutional neural networks? No, I don't. Had you by chance written any papers on the subject or held any patents? No, but that was not. Would you consider yourself an expert in the field of cryptography? No, I whispered, looking down, knowing well where this conversation was leading. The agent continued. Mr. Rick's mathematical models for artificial neural networks were widely cited by the research community. The co-author of a seminal textbook on cryptography. He wrote perfect code all his life, Miss Fahim, bug-free perfect code. And besides, there are no signs of his betrayal to this country. He was an upstanding citizen, honored, valued, and needed. So much unlike you. Miss Fahim, paralyzed, living a fantasy? You think you can mingle with us? Be one of us? We don't expect any good to come from people like you, you savage. No, 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 I yelled. Did you kill him, Miss Fahim? I scream and start shaking. No, no, no. 2 more officers entered the room. They hold me down. Answer us, Miss Fahim, the agents shout in unison. Did you murder Mr. Rick Wilson? Yes. Yes, I did. I finally get the courage. I then boldly pronounce, I killed that imperial bastard. His death marks the end. The end of... I have the strength to speak, but my voice fades. It gets lower and lower, till I almost become inaudible. Everything is distant. Everything is fuzzy. So very fuzzy. Breathing heavily, body sweating, skin itchy, eyes all teary, hair tangled. I'm joggled back into my existence. I'm in my bed, in my room. My phone beeps. Find it next to me. I pick it up. It's already past 11. There's a text message, and it's from Rick. And he asks, hey, you in today? The end. He's an editor at the wonderful Paper Cuts magazine, and he will be reading his story about life in Karachi. So here's Umar Wahad.
Hello. So this is a story I wrote a while ago. It's about the street kids of Karachi.